Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to episode 52 of The Angry Chicken. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and I am joined, as always, by Willie Dills Gregory, Jocelyn Moffat, and Ben Brode's Laugh. I don't even...
Best impression ever.
Belly laughs.
It's wonderful.
I've ever seen in my life.
It's great, and now I've added this to the sounds that I can play at the drop of a hat.
It's great too because not only does he laugh, but he throws his head back. Sometimes something is just it's like pushing the laughter out with his diaphragm. It comes from the gut.
Mr. Brode's laugh is very welcoming and happy, though. What you just did, Dills, is like someone hitting the big red button to destroy an entire society. Just
Yeah, no, that's,
yeah.
It's the greatest thing ever. I actually thought this might get annoying. No, it never got annoying. Like the whole time, I was
at no point.
More of it. Yeah.
You know how we feel when Ben is on the show? I got to feel that way for an entire 2 days of a tournament, which was wonderful. Which is absolutely great. So Blizzard, Team 5, if you're listening, more Ben in my casted Hearthstone games, because
please tell me he's casting the finals and everything, like all of it at Blizzard.
No, I think all he's doing is the pre-BlizzCon stuff.
But change your mind, Blizzard.
Yeah, exactly. You're
people.
But we very rarely will say on this show that Blizzard, you're wrong, but you're wrong in this. We need more Ben. You need to buff the Ben Brode and get him into many more casted games. It's another week, guys. We're what, 4 days away from BlizzCon?
3. I mean, well, from when we arrive.
Yeah. I'm getting on a plane in 3 days. Less than 3 days.
Thursday morning.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yep. I'm driving up on Wednesday night and getting on a plane like before the sun even rises Thursday morning.
Wow.
So it'll be gonna be interesting. I can't wait, guys. I know we talked a pretty long length last week about how stoked we are, but with the World Championship pre-weekend, the last 2 days and everything, now I'm just like frothing at the mouth.
I know. I'm so ready to be there. I mean, all those people are already there. They're there. They're just so close, and we are going to be there soon. And I can't be more excited for anything ever.
Nope. No, not really. So other than that, but by the way, Dills, congratulations to your baseball team of choice.
Oh yes, the Giants,
the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah. And as per usual, I'm starting to get used to this now, which is kind of nice. Because my team sucked for a long time. But people start to hate me on Twitter, and I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry.
How dare you be happy for a team you're a big fan of?
I'm just being happy. I'm not. I don't have a bad bone towards. Or I no bad words to say about any of the teams we faced. It was great baseball all the way through, and my team just happened to win at the end, and it was amazing.
I even watched a little bit of that final game.
That World Series just as a whole was amazing. Like, if you're not even a fan of either of the teams, but you just like baseball, you had to enjoy that series because it was back and forth the whole way. And the final game was 3-2, and yeah, it's just all of it was amazing.
It was good. It was good.
And I'm
very exciting.
I'm slowly recovering, and now BlizzCon's about to happen. So forget that.
Your hangover is leaving you just in time to start it all over again with BlizzCon.
I'm going to saturate myself again with alcohol in a few days.
Your liver is going to pack up its briefcase, put on its fedora, and say, I'm done. I quit, and leave.
Yeah. It's like, no, this thing we got going, it's not working out for me. So
I'm done. I can't take this anymore.
But I've been taking it easy for the past couple days, and I'm starting to feel like a normal human being again. So we'll get there, and then it's BlizzCon.
That's good. That's very good. Anywho, I can't wait for it, man. I'm also looking forward to tomorrow. By the way, if you back us on Patreon, we're doing another Patreon Hangout episode, which is where you all can call in via Skype live and ask us questions about whatever you want. So if you are a patron, head over to patreon.com/TAC. We got the details up there. We've got the Skype account that you can add, all that jazz. And also feel free to comment on this week's post if you can't make it to the live show, and I'll try and add in some questions from folks who couldn't make it to the live call-in in between calls. So looking forward to talking to you guys. This is number 3 and number 4. I've lost count of how many I think this is number 4.
I think this is number 4.
Yeah, and they have all been extremely fun, except number 1 when we had a lot of tech issues.
Yes.
With the few people we got to talk to, it was still a lot of fun.
And we're past that now. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also, since it's BlizzCon week, folks have been asking about when we're doing the meetup and all that jazz. So we're actually going to be doing a meetup the night before BlizzCon. So that's Thursday, November 6th at 9 p.m. local time. So that's Pacific if you're not local to California. We're going to be meeting up at the Bowlmor Lanes, which are it's a bowling alley inside the Anaheim Gardenwalk Mall, which is about a block away from the convention center. You can walk to it. That's what I did last year, and I'll be doing it again, and then probably stopping by that 7-Eleven with Dills to buy a big case of beer to last the whole weekend. Or that night.
Or part of it, yeah.
depending on how
I was going to say,
go.
you guys only went through 1 case of beer? I thought this was going to be a party.
Well,
we threw one case up on last night. That was the first night we went to the 7-Eleven. So this time we're going early.
Yeah.
We're going to be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. See, now we have a game plan. We've been to BlizzCon a couple years in a row now. We know where everything is, and we know not to buy $8 beers in the Hilton lobby.
I heard some people are going to be meeting up in the Hilton. We'll stop by, but bowling and beers and that don't cost that much will be done over that.
Yeah, that's the other thing I like about the bowling alley is I think it's like $6 beers, but the glasses are huge. They're massive. They have a really nice bar at this bowling alley. It's great. And also, if you're not 21 yet, and we've had like 20-year-olds show up before, that's why we do the bowling alley. So
yeah, you can come in.
Everyone can come.
Like food and stuff too. So
yeah.
Also, they have a bunch of pool tables. So if anyone wants to take me on, I'm game. Let's do this.
I will not be doing that.
No,
I will definitely not be doing that. I'm just gonna stick to bowling, which I
want to step up.
I am delightfully mediocre at. But I know Dills is mediocre at bowling as well, so I don't feel so bad.
I had we had a company bowling trip the other day, and everybody assumes that I'm just really good at like games because of the pool and the whatnot. So they had something where he was like, all right, if you break 150, I'll buy you a bottle of booze. And he was like, anybody else, if you break 100, I'll buy you a bottle of booze. And I was like, wait, what? So I totally got handicapped, and then I bowled a 148. And yeah. All I had to do was make a spare on the 10th frame, and I couldn't do it. After making like 4 strikes in a row, I couldn't make a spare on the last frame. So I didn't get a free bottle of booze, which would have been coming with me to BlizzCon.
Oh, that is just awful. I'm sorry to hear that, sir. But yeah, if you haven't, we've done the bowling meetup a couple years now. We started it with Starcast, and last year we did it. It was Dills' first time coming. We want to meet you guys, so come out if you don't have anything to do that night. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on Thursday night, but we'd love to meet you. So come on down. Also, if you want more details, I've got a link to the Google Maps and all that stuff. Head over to amove.tv. I've got a whole post up for everything you could possibly need to know about the meetup. So go check it out. Let's dive into it, guys. There's some stuff to talk about this week. Let's get into this week's Hearthstone news.
Good news, everyone!
The Hearthstone World Championship is in full swing. As we whittle down to the 8 players we'll be seeing play against each other at BlizzCon. And I believe it is still actually going on right now, right?
Yes.
I'm not insane.
I'm pretty sure.
Because we only have 4 confirmed players at the moment that are moving on.
Yeah. It's essentially double elimination through the group phases, so 2 people will make it out of each group. And
right.
Yeah, we only know about 1 from each because one from each has won 2 games so far.
Yeah,
and there is currently about 90,000 people watching it. There was I think up to like 130,000 at some point earlier.
Well, yeah, when I was watching it earlier,
it was not an esport.
Yeah. No, not at all. No, there's it's a fad. It has only waned in interest since last year's exhibition tournament, in which Artosis was crowned reigning champ, and that's it. We're never gonna top that.
Nah, not enough pirate decks. That's the
problem. I've rained on Husky's pirate parade enough. I'm gonna just let that.
It's been a year. We can let it go now.
I think I can.
All
maybe
right, we can let the pirate deck go.
Maybe. I don't know. He's playing in the Heroes of the Storm exhibition tournament this year. So
I really want to see.
I'm really anxious to see what absurd build he comes up with for whatever hero he plays. He'll probably play Lily or Murky. I'm assuming because that's the trolliest heroes that you can play.
Hey, I play Lily.
Yes. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Canadians, they like to troll us, you know.
I like to heal. That's all, dude. I'm being supportive and helpful. And now you're calling me a troll. You know what? Heal yourself.
I went to a concert this weekend. The only band that was screwing with the audience was from Canada. So there you go.
That's how they do.
But yeah, the round of 16 that was happening this weekend has been wonderful and still going on as we're talking about right now. But like yesterday, there was some just ridiculous games. Probably just my favorite thing that stands out is just the coining of the phrase "the haha Miracle Rogue," because no one can remember what the hell the 2-1 with charge is if you have a weapon equipped.
It's funny because there's been, I think, 4 different versions of Miracle Rogue so far run.
Yes.
I even saw a Leroy, I think, at one point. I
Strife
didn't think there was
Crows.
going to be a Leroy in this entire tournament.
Strife Crow's Miracle Rogue had the Violet Teacher, which was one of the types of Miracle Rogue we saw going around.
The token Miracle
and
Rogue.
Also a Leroy.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I mean, I've seen the Arcane Golem, that stuff kind of work pretty well, but I haven't really seen anybody messing with the Leroy stuff anymore. Just because you can only, like, you kind of capped at 12 without, some of the, like, the Cold Bloods and stuff. But if you're going to pop out a bunch of tokens, yeah, it could work out pretty well. So I guess. I mean, if a Strife Crow's doing it, it must be good, right?
That's how I live my life.
Yeah, just wait for Strife Crow to figure it out for me.
Strife Crow and Kalento. I just go, you two, what should I be doing? All right, thank you. And then I go on with my day. Which, there's probably some other games to talk about, but without a doubt, the highlight of this weekend so far has been Strife Crow versus Kalento in a series which could have been the finals. I tweeted, and I'm honest, I wasn't trying to make a joke. I felt like I could be watching the finals right now, like right then when I was watching Strife Crow go up against Kalento. Like,
easily. It could still be the finals.
That's a very good point.
Kalento could still make it through if he wins his next match, and then they actually get split up because, the winner and second place from each group get kind of moved into separate places. So
yeah,
it could be the final.
I like this format a lot, by the way. This is very, very similar to how the GSL used to do stuff for StarCraft, or I think still does. I love this kind of double elimination group stages.
I feel like when you get to the end, we're going to know who played the best throughout. I mean, it's not necessarily, like with any game, the definite best player, but it's the person who played the best during that time. And we're going to know who that was because this is a long road to BlizzCon. So but whoever wins it, like, really earned this. So it's been really exciting.
Obviously, it's a card game, so you get some games like I think it was Kranich versus Green Sheep. I just felt like Green Sheep just didn't drop anything playable for 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I saw a couple of Miracle games where nobody got an Auctioneer, and it just just fizzled out. It's always going to be that way. But again, it's like, this is over time. There's a lot of games you got to win. So the guy who just played the best, made the most correct decisions over that amount of time is going to be the one who comes out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And just some of the games have been phenomenal. The VOD from day one, by the way, if everyone missed it, it's actually being mentioned in chat room right now, is up on the Hearthstone YouTube as a 9-hour video.
Wow.
Yeah, just the whole day one stream, start to finish.
I like that.
I do too. That's how I prefer to watch it.
Yeah.
And even
because then you don't get if they put up like just a single match, as it gets towards the end, the guy's not going to come back or something if he's down 3-1, because you're close to the end of the VOD. Like,
yeah,
it's just big 9-hour block. You don't know. Nothing is spoiled if you don't want it to be spoiled.
Yep, unless they're putting up
That's a good point.
like spoiler videos or something, which is hard to do on YouTube because they'll actually take it down if it's exactly the same as a previous video. But yeah, it's
production's great. Everything's great.
Oh yeah, I can't decide if I absolutely love the setter or if it's just so ridiculous I can't get over it.
I love those giant steins. They're amazing.
I'm leaning towards I think it's amazing. I will say one thing though, as someone who refuses to play touchscreen Hearthstone if he can help it, those chairs do not look comfortable to use a mouse in.
No,
not even remotely.
They're at least wide though, I think. So because if they were a little bit skinnier, your arm would be up here, and then you'd have to be kind of reaching for it. That would be really awkward. But at least they seem like they're wide enough that they're just kind of sitting. It looks kind of awkward though, because most of these guys are pretty small. and then they're sitting in these giant leather chairs.
Those chairs would like make anyone at all look small.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know if they just all seem really small.
So did any other games besides StrifeCro and Colento stick out for you two?
I mean,
That was a hard one to top.
He's the man, right? Like we all kind of like that guy a lot. Honestly, it's just it's 9 hours one day, and then I watched I think a good 5 or 6 hours today at work, and I don't know. It's all a big blur at this point. But
yeah,
there was the zoo. It was the Firebat Zoo versus I can't remember who was playing. He was playing Hunter, and the Hunter missed lethal. And then Firebat made a couple of questionable plays as well. And then the Hunter,
I think that was versus Kranich.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then Kranich then rolled the friggin' Silverback Patriarch out of his web spinner and was able to actually prevent lethal in that game and win that game.
Wow.
That game was crazy because I mean, everyone in chat was freaking out like, "Oh my god, what is this rank 20?" But I kind of like watching pros struggle and have the pressure get to them, and like that makes it more of like a human event to me.
Exactly. That's such a, I don't know, I feel like a narrow way to look at professional play of any sort, because there's so much on the line with this.
Yeah.
To discount the fact that you might just let the pressure get to you and make obvious misplays. I don't know. I agree with you,
He
Dills.
somehow didn't realize that he had lethal when it was on the board. He had lethal on the board. All he had to do was hero power, and he played both of his death rattle minions and missed lethal. And it was like, oh my god! And you saw Firebat because he counted it and he knew it was lethal. And as soon as he didn't kill him, Firebat celebrated. Like, hey, I'm a Zoolock. I'm going to draw 2 cards right now. How can I not draw a card that kills him? And then he didn't draw a card that killed him. He drew 2 knife jugglers and had to try to get lucky with knife juggles on a board with 5 minions on it. And then he actually made a small misplay too because he had a Nerubian egg that he was able to buff up. And even though none of the juggles hit, he had one last chance if he just suicided his egg because the 4/4 would have popped. He would have got 2 more juggles. And it could have potentially, like 1 out of 32 or something, both of them hit the face and he wins the game. So, yeah, it was an interesting game to say the least.
Damn knife jugglers, man.
The Juggalos let him down, but I don't know, he misplayed a little bit earlier too. You know, that was just one of those games where the pressure gets to you. And I enjoy watching the pressure mean something to these players.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love the interview table in between events with Rachel and sometimes Ben Brode to great effect. That does a nice little touch. I really enjoyed all the interviews. If you're even remotely into StarCraft esports, go find the interview with Tasteless and Apollo because it's hysterical. Apollo knows nothing about Hearthstone at all, and it was very apparent, and it was just very funny. Got a good laugh out of that.
I think best interview again. I think was Tiddler Celestial because he said, I can't remember who it was who he was playing against. He said that he wanted to kiss him if he lost or something like that.
I missed that. I didn't see his interview. What a shame.
And then who's the guy from Italy? Is that Kaor or how do you say his name? I don't even know how you say his name.
Shiro?
Who's the guy from Italy? What's his name?
Oh, from Italy. Kaor. Yeah.
Kaor, yeah.
I'm not.
He said she was asking if he wanted to get any food in California or whatever, and he was like, "No, I'm from Italy. Like I got the best food. I don't care about your California food." Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That's great. Although wrong, California has amazing food, absolutely amazing food.
Yeah, I'm like chat saying like we're saying it wrong. Of course we're saying it wrong. We're saying all these guys' names wrong. It's all good.
That's why I wanted Matthew to make it, guys. Come on.
The reason I thought Shiro is because he spells it with a Q. I know he's a Chinese player, but for whatever reason, it was like, well, in my head, that's probably the most correct way to pronounce that name. But yeah, they've all got bizarre names. But I still struggle with Savites. I still want to call them Savages because it just sounds better.
I know. I was actually, I was stoked. I was like, that's pretty clever, Savages. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's not that? Aw.
Yeah. So anyways, it's still going on. If you're watching live, what are you doing? Just go watch the end of this. It's gonna be awesome. Well,
Yeah.
You can catch us on the podcast.
A lot more stuff, a lot more fun Hearthstone to be had too. So really looking forward to the end of this. When we get to that final 8, man, and we actually get to see it live at BlizzCon, oh my god,
Dude, it's gonna be amazing.
I cannot wait.
It's gonna be so amazing. We wanted to do this on Starcast and we never followed through with it. We were going to tell all of our fans to show up to the finals in tuxedos and gowns, make it look like it was like some kind of big fight night for boxing or something.
Does that mean I have to pack a dress?
No,
now?
no. And not this year, but one of these years, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bring my suit with me, and I'm gonna make a big deal. I'm gonna get everyone. We're all gonna reserve we're gonna get all of our friends together, and we're gonna reserve 4 rows all, so we have just 4 rows of people in suit and ties and gowns. I really just want to do that in the worst way.
Well, what we should do is people who are Angry Chicken fans who are at BlizzCon, we should all just be in one section of the seats over there. So if you're going to be there, try to grab a section of seats.
It usually happens naturally, kind of just whoever's there. Grab 4 seats, or something, and just kind of.
It's going to be a hot ticket though. We got to get there a little early, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, file this under big fat stinking steaming pile of rumor. But some rumors and or scuttlebutt if you listen to another show about Warcraft about a possible expansion announcement at BlizzCon. So if you're weird about this kind of stuff and you consider the spoilers, run away now. But this was actually reported by Hearthpwn. Blizzard filed a trademark for Eye of Azhara this week. And many community members have also been receiving goblin-style blueprints for various goblin inventions, with a note stating, "I hope you like my invention." A lot of them are demolishers. Hearthphone's take on this is that since the goblins are currently in control of Azhara in World of Warcraft, and we're getting the goblin-themed card back for the month of November, which is when BlizzCon is taking place, that they think that we're going to get a goblin-themed expansion for Hearthstone announced at BlizzCon. So we'll see.
Could be. I mean, it makes sense. There's plenty of space with the goblins for cool cards. Mm-hmm. One thing that I saw about this rumor too was that they had a Chinese website had data mined some cards potentially, and the cards were class-specific legendaries. So a second class-specific legendary.
I would be so down with that if that is true.
Yeah, that would be really cool actually, because you could decide, maybe to be a Valen priest or the whatever other legendary you have, or I'm the one who tries to make both work. That kind of thing.
Oh, the legendaries.
Yeah. Because I was gonna do Freeze Mage for strategy today, and I decided against it. But Freeze Mage is pretty much the same deck, except some people run Pyroblast and some people run Archmage Antonidas. So it's like the same deck with a different kind of finisher, and that's the kind of option you'll get with maybe almost exactly the same deck, but you have an option of 2 different class-specific legendaries or something. Could be some really interesting stuff that comes out if that's the case. I don't know if it's the case at all, though.
No.
None of this is. Yeah, this is all just we're all just too excited for the expansion, so we all want to figure out what it is. And we're gonna, anytime we hear anything, that's gotta be it.
So Jocelyn, you're the lore nerd. Would you be excited for a goblin themed expansion?
I think that's probably what we're getting. I don't think that that's what this actually is referring to. I think that all of the blueprints and all the goblin stuff, it's pretty obvious that that's probably the way they're taking it. I think this is probably the next WoW expansion. I think that that's what we're looking at, is going into the Maelstrom and doing the whole share, because she was the Night Elf Queen, right? Now she's the Naga, and I think that's where we're going with this.
Do you really think? And this crosses over into instance territory, but screw it. I want to talk about this real quick because I also like WoW. Do you really think they're going to announce the next WoW expansion a week before the current expansion or the new expansion drops? I don't think they will. I think
they absolutely could. I don't think that's outside their own possibility.
I think that kills the hype for your expansion that hasn't come out yet.
I don't think
Not
so
really.
because I don't think it's going to be at the point where they're, have demos of it or anything else. I think we might just see an announcement. I don't think that takes away from Warlords at all. And they've talked about wanting to speed up the expansion cycle a little. So if they want to start bringing things out faster, they have to announce them faster.
For the record, they've been saying that since vanilla.
I know, but I'm just saying.
There's no more Titan to work on. Like I think that they've decided like no, WoW is
they're
our
just
MMO.
going with WoW, yeah.
Oh no, I agree, but I don't necessarily think that means that. Well, yeah, I'm sure some bodies are probably added to the WoW thing. I think there's just something new on the horizon that we don't know about.
I think it makes sense either way. But I definitely don't think that just because Warlords is coming out that means that this is absolutely impossible, that this would be the WoW thing. I think definitely they could.
Okay.
Because it honestly doesn't kill the hype. It makes it even more hyped because now you don't think, oh, this is the last WoW expansion I'll play or whatever. It's like I already know that there's more and I should be invested in this game. So,
well, they've already talked about how like they know what the next stories for the next two or three WoW expansions are going to be. Like they're planning way ahead. So
right.
I think putting in a trademark for this makes perfect sense.
It's like playing Shaman, man. You got to think about your next 3 turns.
God, freaking
get
Shaman.
overloaded.
But so I do think that we're going to get some sort of goblin-themed expansion, but I don't know. They've got to put something else in there. I mean, 100 goblin cards? That's a lot of goblins.
They won't all be goblins, though. There will be goblin themes, but there will be
I could see maybe because the zone used to be controlled by the night elves, right? So if we're still going with that whole zone theme, then it could be like goblin night elf.
Yeah, but there's creatures out there in Ashara. There's all kinds of stuff going on out there. So just because it's goblin themed, I don't think that means we're pigeonholed into just goblins. There's also inventions and all kinds of different stuff. So
I want a goblin shredder card, and I want it to be awesome. I want it to be playable.
You know that's coming. Come on.
It better be like, ladder playable.
Running some low-level instances the other night and seeing like harvest golems and all that kind of stuff. It was awesome. Like
I have such a new
WoW is so fun because of Hearthstone. Like
absolutely.
Wasted snap jaws. Like, oh, there's 4-drop 2/7. So
yeah,
hard card to kill.
Especially for us, we've been playing forever, and a lot of the current cards in Hearthstone are named after vanilla creatures. So when you go back and you level up again, you're just like, oh, hey.
Yeah. It's like you stopped paying attention to these random mobs around the world, and now all of a sudden, oh, look at that! Like I ran by Mukla the other day. It was awesome. Yeah.
You know what's sad though is we can't see Van Cleef anymore.
Oh, I know.
There's no way.
We did whatchamacallit, and he wasn't there.
It's his bootylicious daughter.
Wait,
what?
Is that who it was? Well, we fought the cook, Captain Cookie or whatever.
They changed it again because it used to after the first time they changed.
It was the Murloc in the pot, the cooking pot.
Yeah.
But then I don't remember if we fought Baby Van Cleef. I don't remember. Did that happen?
Unless they changed it again, I don't know.
It was the low-level one. It wasn't the heroic, so I don't know.
Yeah, because the first time they changed it, it was Van Cleef's daughter, and she's just
we fought the Worgen, and then we fought the cook. I don't think we fought his daughter.
Huh. Maybe that is only heroic.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know. I don't think I've been back to Dead Mines like at leveling up level since vanilla.
It's awesome. Dead Mines is awesome. Right. And side note, Jocelyn has never seen the Goonies.
What?
Thanks. You just had to out me there.
Sorry, but I was like, oh, and look, and then at the end we'll get our Goonies moment. And then we get like, I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jocelyn. Jocelyn.
Goonies never say die.
We can't be friends anymore. It's over.
Do I have to watch it somehow between now and Thursday?
You better see that and Guardians of the Galaxy between now and Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Like, this is just
Yeah.
And on that note,
now Shower's freaking out. Thanks.
Yeah, it's delightful. It's absolutely delightful. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time. Well, that'll do it for news this week. Enjoy that rumor. I can't wait to be wrong or right in 3 days. Let's talk some strategies.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay!
And on strategies this week, we want to talk about the double Doomhammer Shaman, or as I've affectionately started calling it, Hammer Time.
It's a good name for it. This is originally, I believe, Chalky's deck. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but that was my understanding.
Well, if the casters on the World Championship are to believed, everything is Reynad's deck.
Oh, of course.
Everything.
Yeah, sorry.
Every single
Reynad.
thing since the dawn of time.
But we'll credit this one for now to Chalky. It seems like a Chalky deck to me. I got to be honest. Looking at this thing, it is the burstiest Shaman deck you can imagine, pretty much. Outside of running a Bloodlust, I don't think you can have more burst than a Shaman deck, right?
It's pretty absurd. Which is not to say it's aggressive.
No, it's not. It's not just go to the face, only. You do still have to have some semblance of board control, but there are moments where you have to decide. Okay, I'm done controlling. Now I hit your face because in my hand I have, 2 lava bursts and this rockbiter or the rockbiter weapon, and I also have a Doomhammer equipped. So forget about your minions from here on out. That kind of thing. It's tough to play. It probably is going to take some time to get used to because there are some pretty tough decisions. But yeah, like you said, Garrett, it's not necessarily an aggro deck, but it's a bursty finishing deck.
Yeah, it's something that I mess up with, in terminology. If I hear burst, I'm like, oh, okay, I should play aggressive. And I notice a lot of my friends, if I say, hey, this is a burst deck, they also kind of synonymize it with aggression, and that's not true. This is a control deck with burst as a finisher.
Yeah, lots of burst.
Yes, lots of burst. lots of options.
Yeah,
lots of burst.
Fada is saying that Impact and Chalky worked on this. That sounds right. I mean, they play a lot together, so that could definitely be the case. But Savitz is the one who played a lot of this deck at the Seat Story Cup 2, and a lot of people really he owned face with this deck essentially. This deck and the Malagos Rogue, and after that it started to become a little bit more popularized to run this deck. So a couple weird things. We should talk about the weird things in this deck.
2 Doomhammers is pretty weird.
2 Doomhammers is weird. And here you go. We're already in chat. How is there time to play 2 Doomhammers? Well, there's not. But the point of having 2 isn't to have time to play 2 of them. The point is to make sure you get one.
And I have actually played 2 in a game that I won.
Wow. Because I have not had that pleasure because generally I'm just hitting face for 4 a turn and then hopefully getting a rockbiter at some point. But
yeah, I had one game today with this deck where I used all my charges on my first one and got my second one and started swinging with that.
Oh my god!
I didn't burn through the second one entirely. I think I maybe swung once or twice with it and won. But it happens. It's not impossible.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but generally the reason why there's 2 isn't because you will use 2 throughout the course of a game. Mm-hmm. The reason that there's 2 is I want to make sure I get one by around turn maybe 5 or 6 when I can actually play it and hit your face a bunch with it. And
then hopefully get a rockbiter.
Yeah. So you get a rockbiter on one, that's 10 damage to the face. Then you have Lava Burst, which is 5 more. You get Spell Power, which you have Azure Drakes, and you have Blood Mage Thalnos or Rolling Taunt Totems. You have Spell Power Totems. There's a lot of ways to get Spell Power, and you can just burst the crap out of people. Also, almost everything has Overload, and you have Unbound Elementals, which just get out of hand pretty quickly in this deck. Because even though you overload on a turn prior, the next turn you often can play more overload spells because they cost less in general, right? Because they overload. Yeah. So even though you are overloaded, on the next turn you still have mana to do like another lightning bolt or whatever it might be. So it's a tough deck to play, I think. I want to hear Jocelyn, did you play this deck at all?
I did, yeah. I think I went 4-1 with it.
Oh. So you weren't playing the hunters, clearly.
No, I didn't run up against any hunters. I had 2 mages, 2 warlocks, and another shaman.
Okay. Yeah.
So I lost to Zoo once.
I owned all of the mages that I played because if it was the freeze variety, I don't care as much about them freezing my minions because I have so much burst from my hand and stuff. So
they can't. Yeah, a lot of them aren't unless they're hitting you with an elemental. They can't freeze you from.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of them were just running like blizzards and whatnot.
And then with the aggro mage, I was able to clean up all their early aggro so efficiently with the 1 mana removal that you have that they never could get a toehold essentially. And then you get to a certain point and your burst is just so bursty that it doesn't matter. You can finish people off. Hunters, on the other hand, though, I'm gonna say are rough with this deck because they're so fast.
I played a decent amount of games with this deck today, and I think I went like one and like pretty much half and half. Like I did really well my first few games. It was still into the early into the season, so I'm still lower ranked. And then I hit Zulox, and I just got owned. I beat one Zulok with 2 life, and then I lost to 2 Zuloks in a row, and then I lost to a Hunter. And that was my 3rd loss in a row, and then I almost broke my desk in half. So
I was gonna say, and then
I started to log off. And
I'll tell you this though, Zulok really comes down to if you could get a good lightning storm, you'll win the game.
One of those losses, I never drew one.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's just like, well, it's not the deck's fault. Like it was just bad draws.
Yeah, but if you get a good lightning storm and say you can earth shock an egg or something, or deny some of their death rattles with your earth shocks, then you can control the board pretty well. And then things like flame tongue totems on your totems, feral spirits can really kind of overwhelm and keep the board clear early. And if you can get past the point where, say, their Doom Guard comes out, then you can pretty much win the game just with your burst at that point, because they life tap a bunch and they're low on health. So.
Right.
It does come down to that. You do have to get that one good turn where you wipe their board and then you kind of reset and you have the advantage.
Do you find yourself with this deck? And I'm asking both of you guys here. Do you find yourself sitting in the early stages against an aggressive deck with a rock biter, and you're just like, and you have other removal, and you're just like, should I use the rock biter? I don't want to overload this early. Should I just use the rock biter? I know it's awesome with the Doom Hammer, but I kind of just need to kill this thing.
Yeah. That's the tough call on this deck. It's kind of like with the Malagos deck. Should I use prep when I'm supposed to prep something big with my Malagos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's always going to be those are the questions that really good players will answer correctly most of the time, and the rest of us have to just figure it out and flail in the dark. But I think it's right to use it if overloading is going to screw you up. I would use it over, say, a lightning bolt. However, you do have to plan accordingly to like what's currently in your hand. It's never just like an easy question of yes or no. It's what's in your hand. Like, let's say I already have a Doom Hammer in my hand, then I'll probably hold on to that Rock Biter because I know I'm going to get 10 damage out of it later. So, you can turn 1 mana into 6 damage essentially with a Rock Biter and a Doom Hammer. So, it's tough. But if there's, let's say it's an Undertaker on turn 1 and it's a Hunter, I will definitely Rock Biter that.
Yes, Undertakers must die.
Yes.
There's no end ifs or buts, and sometimes, and I have noticed myself doing it against Juggalos as well.
Of course, they also must die.
Juggalos and Undertakers need to die. The Juggalo, of course, being the Undertaker before there was an Undertaker.
Yeah.
They were nothing like them.
There's a lot of cards that have to die in this game, and those cards are always a little tricky to try to play. Like, I don't know if you guys have this with the Unbound Elemental. Is just it has taunt essentially. People just
there's that, and this deck has 2 of them: the Unbound Elemental and the Manatide Totem.
Yeah,
they have that hidden text that says dies.
I had one stick around in one match against a mage for literally probably 7 turns, and I was like 10 cards every single hand. I was like, oh my god, I need to get stuff out of here because I'm in trouble.
I played against a shaman once who played 2 Manatides on the board, and I just let them both live because I realized there was no way I was going to be able to kill both of them effectively. Mm-hmm. So I decided instead I'm just going to never kill them, and then they won't be able to kill them because they have 0 attack, and then I'm just going to let them burn out and just way overdraw. And
it's a really good strategy.
But no, I think this deck is a little tricky to play, but there's so much power in the deck that even if you make a mistake, I feel like the burst can forgive you a little bit. There's certain decks where you have to play it so perfectly and tightly that if you make a mistake, the deck doesn't forgive you. I feel like this deck does. Plus, you have things like Hex. You play against a control deck, and they play, their Cairn or Sylvanas or something, and you have Earth Shocks, you have Hexes, you have a lot of ways to deal with stuff like that. So that's another reason I think this deck is good in a non-aggro meta. If the meta is very aggro you may want to avoid this because you have no healing and no way like outside of lightning storm to really kind of get a big comeback turn against a bunch of little weak minions. So
yeah, which
it's
is why at the moment I think I'm going to switch off this, go back to Hunter or Zulok until I rank up a little bit because
yeah,
the Zuloks, man, are just making me rage.
yeah, and and that's the thing is a lot of people are playing those decks because they're trying to rank up. So
Yep.
you got to be a little bit careful about what you play early on in the season. So this deck I think it's really good. I think it's a great tournament deck because it'll you can probably get a couple of free wins against control. But yeah, be careful on the ladder with this. You probably want to start out doing, there's some decks that I wrote about that are really good all the time. And that Hunter deck, the Death Rattles and all that, that's just always going to be good. We saw it in the tournament, by the way, the Road to BlizzCon. Hunter was owning face in the tournament.
This weekend?
Yeah. There was one match where somebody won the first 2 games with Hunter, and then the other guy switched to his Hunter, and then won the next 3. So like only Hunter won games in the entire match.
I feel like I saw plenty of Hunters totally fall right on their face too, though.
It depends. It depends on what they're playing against. But
and the casters were talking about it multiple times that they don't think Hunter's the deck to ban anymore.
Maybe depends on what your set of decks is. Most cases, I might still ban it if I'm playing some weak. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people playing Priest, so that's why you're probably seeing Hunter not do as well. Priest can kind of own it.
Right.
There's a lot of priests.
A ton of Priests. Seen a lot of these Priest versus Priest games, which are just like,
yeah.
They're fun, kind of.
Yeah, which I'm not saying they're garbage. Don't ever play a Hunter. It's wrong. I mean, number guy totally 3-0'd Tom with all the numbers on the end of his name with his Hunter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Tom bunch of numbers is what I like to name or call him. But
guy. Yeah.
But yeah. And then I'll probably until I break ring 10, I'll probably be sticking to Hunter and Zulok. So.
Questions about this deck? Anything that you guys ran into that was kind of weird?
My big question was the Rockbiter thing.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing I constantly was questioning myself on. I was like, when is the right damn time to use this? And another warning is, I felt like with this deck, you could get cards trapped in your hand because of how much overload there is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes it's the right call. Like I know in Shaman decks past, we've talked about how like turn 6 is kind of the golden turn for Shaman. You want to try not to overload so that you can get your Fire Elemental out.
Yeah.
But I definitely played a decent amount of games today where overloading on turn 5 was the right call.
Yeah, you can't just avoid that 100% of the time because if you can clean the board up, then it's fine. And I find a lot of times, like, yes, Fire Elemental is a card I want to get out there, but there's also a lot of times where I know if I do get it out there, it's still just going to die. So rather than get that out there, I'd maybe rather play something like a Haunted Creeper and a Manatide Totem or something, and then Lightning Bolt the thing off, rather than just play my Fire Elemental just because it's a Fire Elemental. So you have to be aware that against a lot of decks these days, they have removal to deal with Fire Elemental, and it's not going to be a straight up 2-for-1 like it can be. One of the tough turns I think too is the early turns, like you were saying with the overloading on the early turns. But one play I've really come around on is coining Feral Spirit if I have something like a Lightning Bolt or an Earthshock or a Rockbiter in my hand. Generally, I would have avoided that in the past. But I really feel that even though you only have 1 mana available the next turn, playing 2/3s with Taunt on turn 2 is so good that it's okay to do that and then just kill whatever they play the next turn. And then you basically have those creatures. They can kind of just run wild for a good 2 or 3 turns. So that's one kind of play I've come around on a little bit. You must have some sort of 1 mana removal in your hand, though, to make it work. Otherwise, you have a dead turn on turn 3.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's much like everything, very situational. Depends on what you're looking at and what you have in your hand.
Also, coining a totem when you have a Flame Tongue totem, that's actually fine. However, be aware that they know why you did that most of the time. If you do that, the other player is going to go, "Oh, Flame Tongue totem incoming." So you may not get the value. So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I've had some stranded Flame Tongue totems today, man. It's just like Nope. Board cleared again. Board cleared again. Board cleared
Yeah.
again. Like, because obviously, if I'm telling people how to play against a shaman, it's like, well, don't let them keep things on the board because flame tongue totem is just it's too valuable if you leave something on the board that can attack the following turn.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of times where people are like, well, I'll just leave that healing totem. It's fine. And then the next thing you know, it's, swinging for 2 to something. So got to be careful.
It's killing your spider and then healing itself back up afterwards.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Exactly.
It's no good. It's no good.
But it's a fun deck. I really like it, and I will be holding on to it to play a little bit later on in the season.
Absolutely. Did we get confirmation or not if this was the deck that Strifecart was running today against Kalento? Because there was speculation that he had 2 Doomhammers, but we never got.
I never saw a second one, and
word.
those deck lists aren't released, so
right.
I don't know.
I was curious because I remember the casters thought they saw a golden Doomhammer one game and then a non-golden the second, but they weren't sure, and I haven't been able to go back obviously because it's still going, so the VOD hasn't been posted.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the deck that Strifecart played against Kalento looked very similar to the deck we're talking about right now.
It was, yeah. I mean, he had the lava bursts and stuff like that too. So
yep.
Yeah, and I would not put it past. I mean, it did very well against Kalento. I mean, that was the deck that essentially won him the match. He was down 2-1 at the time when he pulled the Shaman out, and he was able to beat both of Kalento's remaining decks. So, something to be said for this deck. It's and on the ladder, it's kind of a meta call.
Go Shaman, man. Go Shaman. I also I forgot to mention. I forget which game this was today, but in reference to the tournament for day 2, they need to nerf preparation for priests, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. They're prep for priests. That road is clear. I mean, he's aware now. He saw it happen. So.
You know what?
Artosis, though, sitting next to him and saying, like, so, what do you think? Brawl 4 mana? What do you think, Ben? And, like, seeing if he could actually
and you know what his response was?
Pretty much.
Anyways, go out, give this Shaman deck a try, because don't just take it from me because I'm a Shaman fanboy either. It's a good deck. Go give it a shot. Let's take some crazy game stories.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
You can send your crazy game stories to tacpodcast@gmail.com. And I know it's a my color, but I'm sick of talking. Jocelyn, you take the first one today.
Aw. All right, fine. This one comes from Nicalia, I think. Says, okay. Says, sup, Jocelyn, Dills, and Garrett. Nicalia here with the deeply satisfying game story, KT meets Sylvanas. The situation was ranked play at 13's Ramp Druid that she was playing versus generic priest with Inner Fire's Cultist, KT, and Thoughtsteals. It's priest turn, and he has a Dark Cultist, which is a 3/4 on board, facing 3 of my minions, a Druid of the Claw, who is 4/4 with Taunt, Black Knight, and Sylvanas. Here's what happened. So the priest plays KT, which is a 6/8, Inner Fires the Dark Cultist into a 3/4, kills the Druid of the Claw, turns KT into a 6/11 because of the Dark Cultist Death Rattle. And then so ends the turn and gets the Dark Cultist back because of KT. So then the Druid, which was her, ponders, laughs, grins wickedly, smacks Sylvanas, which is a 5/5, into the Dark Cultist, giving KT +3 health. Wrath Sylvanas, which is her own Sylvanas, to take KT 6/14 over to her side, and ends the turn, gets Sylvanas back as well as the 6/14 KT. The priest conceded. Very satisfying.
Oh, man, I need a... Wow. Just well played.
Very well played.
Well played, madam.
That is pretty sweet. She actually hit me up on Skype the moment this happened and was like, are you guys still doing crazy game stories?
I was about to ask. This is the same Nicalia we used to run BGs with, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she plays a lot of WoW, she plays Hearthstone, she plays a lot of LOL and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she was like, I'm writing up one now, but I just want to make sure you guys still are. It's really good. And I was like, yep, we
That's
still
so
are.
funny because I had no idea that happened. I just read this and it was like, sweet.
Oh, yeah, this is a good story. This is a good one.
It is pretty good. Yeah, it's a nice play.
Great play-by-play, especially the bullet point ponders, bullet point laughs, bullet point grins wickedly. I'm a sucker for formatting. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, she had to do it exactly in that sequence or else it wouldn't have worked. You know?
Yeah.
If she had laughed before the ponder, That wouldn't have made any sense.
And if you do anything before you grin wickedly, it's going to end poorly. I mean, that's like lightning bolting before you're unbound elemental. It's just it's no good. It's no good at all. All the shaman analogies today, all of them. All I can come up with. Tills, what's our next crazy game story? We don't have a name for this person.
We don't have a name, but it says an armored up dead.
No, that's literally how he signed it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
all
this
right
is
then.
from an armored up dead warrior.
Yeah.
And opens with "For Science," which is not how the creature says it, I know, but that's how I say it. Hello, feathered furious fowls. Just played a game against the warlock. I was down to 1 health and 1 armor, and had just gained board control. He started out with Flame Imp turn 1 and then Demon Fire to turn 2 and 3, making it a 7/6. I was unlucky and didn't draw any of my answers for it. Okay. So he's explaining how he got down to 1 health and 1 armor. So it sounds like a double Demon Fired Flame Imp. Scary stuff.
Okay.
I had an Armor Smith, Amani Berserker, and Cruel Taskmaster, and he had an empty board and had already used both Soulfires, so I think I'm safe. He then uses a Hellfire. The way it resolved was the Hellfire dealt 3 damage to everything, which activated the Armor Smith, giving me 3 more armor. Sadly, I was dealt the 3 damage before the armor, setting my life total to -1, and putting armor on a dead man still makes him dead. Y'all are the only reason I look forward to Mondays or Tuesdays if I'm too tired to stay up for the show. This is actually really interesting because there are times where if you can get down to 0, you can still come back with healing. But with armor, if you're at 0, you are at 0. Right? So
Yes. That he Tarantino'd this with his name, man. He gave us the ending and then he told us how we got there.
Right?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he took us back. He was like, you know what? Let me set the scene. He plays a flame imp. Then he demon fires. Then he demon fires it again.
There's 2 dudes in black suits pointing guns at each other and a bleeding man on the floor. How did we get here? Oh, that was delightful. Thank you, an armored up dead man. Thank you very much. You and Decalia, these are 2 of my favorite stories we've gotten in a while. I like these a lot. But
Yeah.
let's keep the fan submitted stuff rolling with some emails.
Hello?
Hello, it's me.
Hello?
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
Emails can be sent to the same place, tacpodcast@gmail.com. And our first one today comes to us from Carlos, who writes, during the last couple of days, I've seen in Reddit, Hearthstone forums, and other places the hunting of witches / botters. Everyone seems unhappy with the decision except the cynics that say, I'm happy with what I did and I don't care about my 3 months vacation. The botters want to play, and the rest of the people mostly think they should be permabanned or have accounts wiped. If you're just tuning in, this is in reference to last week's discussion of a bunch of botters being banned in Hearthstone and only receiving a 3-month banning and being able to keep everything that they received as a result of their botting. Carlos continues, for me, the morals of botting is more of a gray area. For example, if I paid a human being for playing with my account every day, would that be frowned upon? So instead of doing that, a tool is being used to automate that process. Not only that, today you can still buy accounts with all cards and still gain an unfair advantage over non-botters. Botting is not cheating as it doesn't bend the rules of the match or anything. You still have a set of cards and a set of rules and follow them. People complain that bots take too long between turns, but that is part of the game. Blizzard sets that amount of time. Bots don't do anything that a person couldn't do. I personally got banned. I never got a golden portrait, almost only botted in unranked test run decks, and even paid around $150 in packs to increase my collection. I understand the sanction, as Blizzard is in it for the business, and that is what a company is there for. Also, there are the terms of service in which it is said that action will be taken against botting, although it is not very specific about it. But I do question the excessive bitterness and aggression that people have against botting. Also, I probably would have spent some money in the game in these 3 months, and now I won't be able. So even there, they will be missing some dollars. Finally, in my opinion, most people won't bot again after the initial ban. I won't bot again, but I don't know if I can continue playing a game in 3 months that I really like, but that I couldn't play for so long. Thanks. Signed, Carlos.
Okay.
Well,
This is interesting. This is
I thought it was really interesting because it's
Yeah.
like the other side of the story. We had so many people write in and be like, "Yay, bands!" And then he wrote in, and I was like, "Oh, actually, I want to talk about this."
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think he makes, he makes the argument that a botter would make, and I appreciate it. I still think that it's wrong to bot, but
Well,
I
it takes
appreciate
the
his point of view on this.
even though he's saying that it doesn't break any rules because, it's a virtual card game and the rules are set, it does still break the rule that you're supposed to be a person and you're supposed to use your brain as part of the rules of the game. So if you're automating that, then that is breaking the rules, or at least the spirit of the game.
Breaking the terms of service, but what he's
yeah.
essentially saying is he's not breaking the rules of Hearthstone.
Yeah.
His
he's
argument
not-
that it's technically not cheating in the sense of the game rules, he is
in that single game the
100%
bot
correct.
played, no cheating was done. Like the bot wasn't able to play 10 mana worth of cards on turn 5.
Turn 1. Yeah.
Right. That's true.
But it doesn't mean that he didn't break the rules of Blizzard and their terms of service, which they do say you cannot bot. Now, again, he also points out that it's a little bit of a gray area, but Blizzard does that on purpose to allow them to make a determination about what they want to do in the case of botting, and that's done very specifically on purpose. Like a lot of companies do this. They leave gray area in their terms of service because then it allows them to make a decision. And if they put it exactly in, if you bot, this will happen, then they are kind of hands tied when it does happen. And there's no room for them to kind of make a determination that they feel is the best for that particular case.
Agreed.
But yeah,
the thing for me is, while nothing you said here is untrue, I believe that botters are ruining the game for me. Yes, technically, another person could sit there and run it down to the fuse every single turn. But at least they're having to sit there and suffer as I am sitting here and suffering. They're not off picking their nose or whatever it is you do while you're running a bot.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and I'm not playing Hearthstone to play against AI. I'm not hitting ranked play to play against AI. If I want to play against AI, there's a place to go do that already in the game, and that's what I'm going to do. If I'm in ranked play, I want to play against another person. I want to see who is the better player, and I would hopefully I expect some level of mutual respect from my opponent. And I see this as a gross level of disrespect, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, and it pisses me off too. But again, I'm not gonna witch hunt the specific people, and I didn't think that 3 months was too little because I understand the reasoning behind the 3 months. It's Blizzard doesn't want to ban people who didn't deserve to be banned before they have a really good system in place to catch these people. But they do want to make some sort of action. So the 3 months thing was a way to get the ball rolling on dealing with this problem. But there's a couple of arguments that are made here that are just incorrect as arguments. Like to say that you could pay somebody to play the game for you is not at all the same thing. Like not even close.
I wouldn't mind that. You're paying for your laziness, and two, I still get to play a real person, not a sea giant shaman.
Okay, and I'm just going to jump in and play devil's advocate here and say, okay, well, what is the difference between paying a person to play versus like paying a person, like say, I mean, even you, Dills, paying you to teach me how to play and like watching over my shoulder while I play in arena or ranked?
Well, because you actually learn to play. First of all, so there's value in learning to play, and coaching somebody to get better at something is not at all the same as just, turning on a machine and then letting it go. You don't learn anything while you're letting a bot go. But, again, like this, if I paid somebody to create a bot for me or paid a person, like either one of those things, I feel like aren't doing any good for me at all. It's cheating the system, essentially. However, I think it's worse to bot than to pay some. Like if the father out there wants to pay his kid, here's your allowance, rank my shaman up or whatever for me. The thing is that the other person who's playing the other side, well, the other person who's playing the other side isn't necessarily paying a price of having to then play a game that is not human at all. Like it's all of the human element is taken out. And yeah, you could beat bots. Nobody's saying that you can't beat bots, and no one's saying that it's unfair to the to the person to play against the bot. But it's just unfair to the game itself, to the entire system of the game. It creates these funky gameplay mechanics. Like the bots play weird. They're not fun to play against. Less fun is had by all, and you're just at home hanging out doing whatever while you're gaining gold and whatnot. It's not the same as paying somebody.
It creates a bad competitive environment.
Yeah. But that being said, I respect the smarts that it takes to actually write a botting program. Don't get me wrong. That you do have, there's a skill associated with that, and it's not easy to do.
Yes. So thank you for using your talents to ruin my game for me. Thank you very much, you asshole.
Predictably, we have Garrett raging, Jocelyn devil's advocate, and then I'm going to try to find some middle ground. But
helping.
I don't like the bots. I hate the bots.
I
don't hate you, Carlos.
I like Carlos's
probably
email.
An okay guy.
I like Carlos's email a lot. I hate botting. I really do. I have no interest in witch hunting. I don't care that much. Blizzard is doing it for me. I agree. I think there's much more. I want to talk about the game when I go into the forums. I don't want to talk about bot witch hunting. But since you brought it up, it infuriates me. So.
I think that they should be banned for life once Blizzard decides that they have proper ways to. Not that ban that person, but that account should go. That account should not be.
But you can only have one Hearthstone account per BattleNet account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you can make a new BattleNet account.
Yeah, I guess so.
Too.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I think that they have to be really careful with that too, because Carlos's example is perfectly valid. He said he only uses it in unranked, which I don't really understand. If you want to test it,
I doubt that's true.
But still, anyways,
he said he mostly uses it in unranked.
Yeah.
But
my point is going to be that he also sunk a ton of money into the game. So it's like when you have people who are doing both, who are spending huge amounts of dollars on a game, as well as, using a bot for whatever the reason may be, they're obviously using it often enough to get banned. So if you do a full account wipe, it's like they're losing the money that they've put in. So I feel like there's a lot of these. Well, true.
They risk that money by botting, because if they didn't bot, there's no risk at losing your money. Ever.
Yeah.
If you break the terms of service, you are open to this. You're taking that risk. It's
like I bought this car and then I used it in a bank robbery and then they took my car, man. What the hell?
Yeah, that's an extreme example, but yes.
It's an extreme example, but you know what I mean.
I feel like I need to say at this point that I am not on board with botting.
Oh no, I don't think anybody thinks you are.
Arguments, please.
No, I completely.
No one witch hunt me, please.
I agree. We're providing the counter argument, which is tough shit.
Yeah.
You broke the terms of service while making the game less awesome for every other player. I find it hard to sympathize.
Yeah, but it's valuable that you're gonna try to stick up for what possibly the argument could be here, because otherwise it's just us yelling that botting sucks, and that's not really a valuable conversation to have. If people just because then everybody who does bot just goes, well, they're wrong and I'm right, and then everybody who hates botting just goes, yeah, we're all right, and nobody's actually having a conversation about why or why not.
Absolutely.
And that's it's kind of a big problem with any argument that ends up happening, is people don't debate.
But there was a very similar debate going on in the early days of WoW when people would automate farming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that still goes on to a certain extent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I haven't seen one in a long time, but I remember back in the day, man. Oh, being out in the blasted lands and being like, oh, this son of a bitch is taking all my freaking mining ore, and he's totally botting because he's just.
Or when you go into a battleground and there's some dude who's just in there running around doing really weird stuff, and you're like, okay, so this guy's botting just to get honor.
And all of it, in every instance, has made the game less fun for the person actually playing it.
Yeah. Cause, if I want, again, like you made a great point, Gary. If I want to play against AI, there's an option to do that in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I could go play single player games, but this game is not meant to. If I went to the pool hall and there was a bot there, and and I was like, well, I don't really want to play this guy, but they're like, sorry, you queued in and you got this guy. That would suck. That would totally suck.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that in Hearthstone either.
Oh, great.
You have to actually like imagine what's actually happening. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, should I drop this? You know, this is gonna overload me, and then what am I gonna do next turn? And then on the other side, it's like beep boop bop boop beep. Calculations say.
Why do I feel?
I've lost again. I feel nothing. Like it's just it's not fun.
I was not programmed to rage. Anyways, thank you for this very interesting and inflammatory email.
Carlos, I don't hate you, sir.
No,
but
No.
I have a feeling that we would get along just fine.
Yeah, we probably would have a beer.
I feel like I feel like you'd be one of my friends who I do not agree with politically, but I'm still very good friends with. It's like, oh, cool. So there's a couple things that we totally don't see eye to eye on, but totally want to hang out with you and have a beer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm fully aware though. I'm coming to you for some help, Carlos. I think you understand what our robot overlords are thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Tills, what's the next email from? Is it from a robot?
It's from David the robot. Oh my God! No, it's from just David. He says, "Hey, Tech Crew. Back when I used to play Decipher's Star Trek TCG competitively, the issue of inflation was always a hot topic. The game's first edition ran for a good 10 years and had 15 or so expansions, and in that time there was a definite power creep. While a stat of, say, 7 was strong in the early days, it slowly became average to lackluster as time went on. And I suppose it makes sense in your desire to make new and interesting cards. It's tempting for new cards to be just a little bit better than what we have so far. Do you think stat inflation will ever be an issue in Hearthstone? Your show continues to be the highlight of my week. You guys are the best. Thank you, sir." That's an interesting question, and I guess
I am just amazed that there was a competitive Star Trek TCG. I didn't know this.
I mean, that's awesome. There's a lot of TCGs out there that people don't know about, but there was a big scene around.
Oh man.
But I think this is a really, really interesting question because it's true. As you put out more and more cards, it's going to be tough to come up with, like, say, another vanilla or another taunt card, and what does it cost, and how much health and everything does it have. I think though that what I would probably like to see is, rather than having to do a bunch of inflating to make new cards viable, is kind of do what Magic did and just kind of phase cards out as time goes by. Then you never really have to worry about it, do you?
Yeah. I'd be curious how Hearthstone would handle that. That's kind of the same thing,
though. Like, because cards are just going to naturally like phase themselves out if inflation becomes a problem, because they're just not going to get played anymore, right? So, I mean, it's just the difference between Blizzard actually saying, or Magic actually saying, okay, these cards, you just can't play them anymore, and players just kind of making that decision on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there comes a point, though, where there's like 3,000 cards, and if every single card is playable, the game is just insane. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so complex.
I think we're going to get up to 3,000 cards?
At some point. You're talking. I mean, this game got the 15 expansions.
I feel like if it gets to that point, they're going to have to do something like Magic, where it's compartmentalized in some fashion. And I think
there could be seasons and the different types, like the modern and the standard.
Right. And I feel like we're quite a ways away from that.
Oh, absolutely. It's not something we have to worry about now.
At the moment, I feel like they would never take cards away, because I feel like they put some level of weight on people purchasing cards.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is the option that they're going to go with anytime soon. But I think there is going to be a point where the decision will have to be made. What do we do here? Do we keep, because how many more 1-drops can we make? We've made every type of combination of 1-drop. So what are we making now? What new cards are we coming out with? So, new mechanics will have to come in, and a lot of stuff will have to happen. Things will change, and, at that point we'll see. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility of having kind of seasonal cards, and this season's cards are no longer playable necessarily. Yeah,
exactly. I think it'll be fine. I think Jocelyn you made a good point that it'll kind of naturally take care of itself if this does happen. They could compartmentalize it. I cannot talk anymore. There's options, and I don't think we're gonna have to worry about any of them for a while.
Yeah. So. But what he brings up, the inflation thing, I mean, they'd get to a certain point where well, now what do we do? Because, I want to make a card that's powerful, but it has to cost 11 to matter, and we can only ever have 10 mana, There's going to be some weird situations that come up the longer and longer it goes on.
Yeah.
And I hope this game goes on and on forever and ever, and there's always going to be new cards coming out, and it remains fresh. And I hope these situations come up, and the solutions have to be, figured out.
Yep. Jocelyn, you want to take the final email?
Absolutely. This one comes to us from Adam. He says, "Hello, heated hens." I love that he called you guys hens.
That's a new one right there.
Now that a new season is upon us and we're all trying our best to quell the horde of hunters, I started thinking about the ban system in tournaments. If we were given the option to ban one class such that we could not be matched up against that class, I know we would all ban hunter. But if we did that, hunters would only be matched up against other hunters, and most would pick up another class and join the rest of us in what can only be described as a more balanced meta. But for the hunters who just can't play any other class, how do you think that their decks would change given a hunter-only mirror meta?
Oh my god.
I reject your world you have set up because it will never happen.
Well, yes. I mean, it kind of goes against the whole, feel of the game to be able to ban a class in ranked or whatever. I thought it was kind of an interesting idea. Don't jump down my throat. But it would totally play out exactly this way.
Scenario where you're stuck in a 100% chance of mirror matchup would just become such a constantly fluctuating thing because whatever the current.
Well, why wouldn't Hunter ban Hunter too? I mean, if I'm playing Hunter, yeah, let's ban Hunters.
I don't want to play
Then you just have like
another Hunter
3-hour-long queus until you get that one shaman who forgot to ban.
That's the thing. No one would play Hunter if your queues took forever because because everyone banned you. So it would essentially work itself out, I think, in a situation like that. There is, like in WoW, I can ban battlegrounds. Like I don't want to play, certain battlegrounds in WoW because Alliance always wins.
Well, and that's kind of what got me thinking is like this does exist, although in that case you're banning a specific location. You're not banning other people.
Yeah, you're not banning. I don't want to play against rogues because I'm sick of getting stun
warlocks
locked.
in my BGs.
I'm so sick of being stun locked by rogues, man. Or I'm so sick of druids because I can't kill them. It's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not the same necessarily.
It is not the same. You can ban maps in StarCraft. You cannot ban Zerg. Like,
wouldn't it be great if you could?
No, it wouldn't. There's only 3 races that would get real stale real fast. And
I'd
personally,
be okay with just Terran and Protoss.
I hate mirror matchups. I would do it in a heartbeat, but it would be a stale game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting idea. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like that on ladder tournaments. People will do whatever they want to do for tournaments, but that would be very bizarre, I think, for a ladder situation. And we've already we talked about this on the show last week that Blizzard doesn't want anyone banning stuff in this game. They don't particularly like that.
Yeah,
so.
but yeah, if your crazy world existed, the decks would be fluctuating constantly because someone would come up with the best deck, but then someone would just come up with a counter it, and then that would become the new best deck, and so on and so forth. It would not be interesting at all.
And then people in the chat are making the point, like if I played Priest, I wouldn't ban Hunter. I would ban Warlock. So I wouldn't even give a crap about the Hunter. So it wouldn't necessarily work out this way because people would still play the class they like. They would just ban the worst matchup for their class. If I'm playing Freeze Mage, I ban Warrior. If I'm playing whatever, it's just there's always going to be an answer. It's not always going to be Hunter. Even though Hunters are damn frustrating right now because you're just.
I think that's what is coming up.
Is always hurting.
Yeah, it's just we got so many emails in the last like 2.5 to 3 weeks that are just like, damn it, Hunters, get rid of Hunters. I hate Hunters.
Come at you. They play for keeps.
Yeah.
Always shooting you in the face.
Imagine your worst case of Razor Burn. That's every turn against a Hunter. Every turn. Jocelyn's just going like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I love Hunter.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I thought you were going to say I love Razor Burn. I'm just like, what? Anyways, thanks for your emails, everyone. Even some weird emails this week.
This got some really good conversations going, I think, though. That's the kind of stuff I like. Sometimes we do this show, and I'm like, well, there's not much news, but I can always look forward to the email section.
Never
people ask us stuff that's weird.
There's never a lack of conversation sparking questions from the community.
Yeah.
never ceases to entertain.
Yeah, you guys rock.
So
Community, you rock, community.
yeah, guys, even botters, we love you.
Yeah.
When you're now that you're banned. Anyways, as always, want to thank those of you who are backing us over at patreon.com/TAC. This week, we wanted to thank Adam M, Ellen B, Ken M, Justin L, and Chad F. Thank you all for being patrons of the Angry Chicken. We really appreciate it. Reminder, having the Patreon Hangout episode tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Head over to patreon.com/TAC for all the details on that. Also, those of you who are leaving us reviews in the iTunes store, thank you guys very much. Wanted to thank N. Pilch, Adam Argyle, Super Duper Magnum, who says, I mean, the Star Wars references alone, ... IC Wiener, there you got me to say it.
Nice.
And Matt Adler, thank you.
Well done, sir.
Thank you all. Delivery for IC Wiener.
By the way, I've been watching a lot of Simpsons lately, and that gag will never get old. I'm sorry, it just never will.
Oh man, Futurama is my Matt Groening show of choice. I love
But the Simpsons, come on.
I don't dislike the Simpsons. I just for Futurama totally just it's my freaking bag.
Sure,
man.
no, it's good
Everything
too.
about
Yeah,
it.
it's good too. I think Simpsons will always be my first love, though.
Futurama gets my vote.
I think for my
All
first love, I think South Park.
Oh yeah, totally. South
Park was the first like animated more
Oh,
mature
really?
animated show.
See, when
that
I was a
really
little
got into.
kid, that was when the Simpsons started, though. You know, they've been around like my whole life.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I remember watching The Simpsons very young, and then my dad telling me I'm not allowed to watch it anymore.
Oh, wow.
Like when I was like 4 or something, I was really young and watching it, and he was just like, "No, you're not allowed to watch this." And then I was also grounded for 3 months for watching South Park. So
Really?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
I was still in Catholic school, so it would have been
Oh.
before high school. I don't know exactly how old, but yeah, no. I get along
Yeah,
with my parents a lot better now. Let's just put it that way.
3 months. That's intense.
I butted heads with my
It's like you
parents
were
a lot
plotting
growing
or
up.
something.
I know. Jeez, my parents apparently.
It's a callback.
My parents work at Blizzard. Anyways, as always, The Angry Chicken is a production of BayMove.tv and the Frog Pants Studios. You can email us at tacpodcast@gmail.com. All of our past live shows and other videos can be found over at youtube.com/StarcastShow. That's STARCAST show. You can get the Angry Chicken t-shirt over at slashloot.com. Check it out. Also, follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. Catch the live recording on every Monday night, except next Monday, at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/AMoveTV. Our mobile live stream is provided by alphageekradio.com, which is where you can go this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time to hear the Angry Chicken live from BlizzCon. We'll be doing our live BlizzCon show.
I'm so excited.
and,
I'm excited for everything BlizzCon. I can't wait to see you guys.
It's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. I can't wait to get our Mickey Mouse hats. Just run
That's
around.
right.
Just be like, act like freaking children. It's gonna be so much
Perfect.
fun. It'll be a good time. Not writing It's a Small World. I'm just reiterating that point. It's not happening.
That's cool.
We'll go ride like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or something while Jocelyn does that.
Teacups?
I have to do it once.
We'll go get our picture trying to remove Excalibur from the stone. How's that sound?
Okay.
Sound good? Okay. I'm going to say all these other things that are better than It's a Small World, and Jocelyn will just be like, no, but I want to do that too, and we'll eventually run out of time, and it'll be fine. It'll be all okay.
Yeah, you'll always win with me and Excalibur. Always. Trumps everything. Huge King Arthur nerd.
Nice. Dills, where can folks find you when you're not doing the Angry Chicken?
They can find me on the Instance, which is Friday mornings. Although this coming Friday, we will not be doing a show because we'll be at BlizzCon. There will be a live Instance at BlizzCon as well, so check that out. Terpster and Scott will all be there. The whole gang will be there, and we'll see if we can pull some other folks in. And there's gonna be a big announcement at BlizzCon.
I really, really, really want to crash that episode. I've yet to see a live
you
Instance
totally
recording.
should, sir.
So
Totally can do that.
can you
but,
photobomb
yeah.
a microphone? That's my question.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the announcement that's happening at BlizzCon, though. So everybody who's an Instance fan, hold on to your hats. because it's going to be cool stuff. All right, and then Torchcast. Oh, we're talking about how the Giants won the World Series. It's pretty sweet. If you like the Giants, you probably don't if you like all my shows, because apparently everybody who listens to all my shows likes every other team that played against the Giants throughout the playoff run. But we've actually been getting a lot of listens and stuff lately, and the show's been doing really well. It probably has something to do with the Giants winning the World Series. But doing a show tonight, talking about the whole magical run, all that stuff. So check that out, torchcast.com. And then outside of that, just BlizzCon. If you're at BlizzCon, come find me. Let's have a beer.
Yep. High fire fist bumps, because I guess it's less likely to get germs. Fist bumps all around.
Bro
Yeah,
fist.
I don't care. I'm not worried about Ebola. You can hug me.
I shook so many hands at an Untacular, and I didn't get sick until 3 weeks later when I was on vacation.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just kind of expect that I will get sick by the time I get home. I will be sick.
Last year's BlizzCon, I came back with bronchitis, so let's see if we can.
Oof.
If I come home with anything less than bronchitis, it's a good year.
Mm-hmm.
So the bar's set pretty high.
Yeah.
Set pretty high. Jocelyn, where can folks find you when you're not contracting diseases?
The best place to find me is always on Twitter. Everything I do is tweeted out there. I've been streaming a lot in the last week. Obviously, I won't be streaming this coming week because of BlizzCon, but been playing a lot of stuff with Octane Pro, who used to do a lot of work with A-Move. He does a lot of Smite stuff now, and oh man, we've been having so much fun. So all those videos are going up on YouTube too. Also, we do the Gamers In every Friday night. As far as I know, they're still doing a show on Friday, but I won't be on it. But that is 8:30 Eastern, and that is right here on A-Move TV.
Awesome. Go check it out. You can find me on Twitter at GarrettArt, over also on nomoonart.com. That's my graphic design portfolio. And on Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. No new episode this week, but we did put up an extra episode last week because we didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. So go check that out. We took a lot of emails, had a lot of fun. I think we tried our damnedest not to hate on Lily anymore. So that was good. Dills, you're missing out. Nova is broken as all get out.
Oh yeah? I've been playing Demon Hunter a lot lately. I haven't been playing Nova at all. I gotta get back in on that.
And you're actually staying alive because Nova one-shots Vala. Like,
I don't have Nova anymore because I lost all my stuff, and I didn't buy the package that had Nova in it. So
okay, well, you should.
Yeah, but then I have D3, Reaper of Souls, so I have Vala. So
gotcha. You should just buy Nova because she's just
all right.
She's just dumb. She's just
I do
dumb.
miss Nova. I miss my Nova. We had good times together.
Indeed. I need to play some more Heroes, dude. Also, check out our sponsors, doghouse-systems.com. The code to use is TAC. It'll get you double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig, and we thank them for their support. We thank you all for listening, and we'll hopefully see you all at the Bowlmor Bowling Alley this Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific. I'm looking forward to it. Have a safe BlizzCon, everyone. See you soon. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!